How's it going, everyone? Bass here. So a lot of people in my comments over the past few weeks have been asking for me to bring back the PFF series where I break down the PFF grades for both the offense and the defense from the previous Packers game. So in today's video, that's exactly what we're going to do. So if you do enjoy this series and you want to see it keep returning, go down, hit that like button so I know you do. Before we get into the grades of this Week 13 game, I want to give a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, Pristine Auction. If you guys frequent my channel, you know that I give away a lot of signed Packers items. Thank you to pristineauction.com. And this website is your go-to spot for everything signed memorabilia. I'm not joking when I literally say they have pretty much everything from coins to basketball to football to baseball to pop culture to music, soccer, racing, WWE, you name it, they likely have it signed. Everything behind me in this setup that is signed is from Pristine Auction, and there's a lot of cool stuff, and I've gotten some really great deals when buying this stuff. When you search up Packers on their website, you will see tons of cool specialty helmets signed by players such as Aaron Jones. You see signed jerseys from Josiah DeGuara, more Aaron Jones, signed cards by A.J. Dillon, Robert Tonyan, James Lofton. So it's not just current players, it's old players as well. And as you see, you can also buy football cards that are graded, like this Paul Hornung one. There's an Antonio Freeman jersey. The options are endless. So if you are interested in this, upgrading your man cave, or simply just getting some signed memorabilia or even a Christmas present for someone, head over to pristineauction.com, and while registering, use my registration code BASS, B-A-S, and that will give you a free $10 site credit. Not to mention, doing so will enter you in this month's giveaway, which is this signed Christian Watson throwback jersey. So it's a win-win. You get free $10 on the website, and you get to be entered in this signed Christian Watson jersey. That's all at pristineauction.com. All right, so without further ado, let's get into these PFF grades. This Week 13 matchup where the Green Bay Packers kind of kept their season alive against the Chicago Bears, the team that Aaron Rodgers and the Packers in general own, giving the Packers the most wins in NFL history with this win, 28-19. All right, so bringing up the grades here, we're going to start on the offense here, and at the top of the list, the highest graded offensive player for this week was Elgton Jenkins, and we'll get into the more of the blocking grades in a little bit here, but right now we're just going to go and start with overall grades. We see Elgton Jenkins has an 83.5, so really good to see him, start to get back into his form, because earlier in the year he wasn't playing too good, and he's returning from an ACL, so it makes sense for him to have some rust in the system, but he's looking really good the last few weeks, and that shows here. An 83.5 with an 87.5 pass block. Second graded player, A.J. Dillon. This makes sense. This dude had a really good game, and he's starting to turn it up as well these last 2 weeks. He's kind of had a slow start to the season, but hey, December comes around, and A.J. Dillon is here to run the football through defenders. 74.7 overall grade. And then third, we have Christian Watson, who, again, all he does is score touchdowns. This dude is so electric. I love watching him. The emergence of Christian Watson, a 73.7. Allen Lazard, a 72.2. Aaron Jones, a 71.7. Only played 25 snaps comparative to Dillon's 45. Aaron Jones kind of banged up all game, but definitely should be good for the Rams game after the bye. Patrick Taylor did have 6 snaps and a 67.6. Josh Nijman started all 66 snaps at right tackle, and he had a 66.9. John Runyon, a 63.3. Zach Tom started all 66 snaps at left tackle, and I thought had a really excellent game. He did have a 63.2. I would assume because his run block was a 53.4, but his pass block, excellent, a 77.4. Every time Zach Tom has to go in and fill in a position, he just does well. It so reminds me of early Elgton Jenkins. So if we can get another guy just like that, which it seems like we have, that's insane. Then we have Mercedes Lewis with a 63.1, Tyler Davis a 62.4. Tyler Davis only had 7 snaps to DeGuara's 10, so like I've been saying, DeGuara needs to get on the field more than Tyler Davis. The past couple of weeks, it was the opposite, and I have no idea why. Aaron Rodgers, a 62.4. Not a great game by Aaron Rodgers by any means, but hey, he did enough to win. He didn't turn over the ball. That's all you can ask for. Sammy Watkins, a 55.0. Although I don't like seeing Sammy Watkins on the field, if you guys were watching my stream, I kept praising him for his run blocking ability. It seems like every time Sammy Watkins is on the field, a run is going his side, and he's securing that edge really well. It happened with the A.J. Dillon run, and it happened with the Christian Watson end-around run. So although Sammy Watkins, not a great receiver, hasn't done much in the receiving game, he has been a really good blocker, in my opinion, in the run game. Josiah DeGuara, a 54.3. Samori Toure, only 12 snaps, a 53.7. Josh Myers, the lowest graded lineman on this week with a 53.1. Robert Tonyan, not a good week, 48.4. Same with Randall Cobb, didn't record a stat against the Bears, which is an anomaly. I feel like that has never happened, a 47.6. Now to go into blocking specifically, as we said, Elgton Jenkins was the best pass pass blocker with an 87.5. If we go into pressures allowed, sort that by pressures, there was only 2 pressures allowed by this Packers offensive line and 0 sacks. Although the Bears front seven isn't what it used to be, the Packers offensive line was exceptional on Sunday. 1 pressure by Josh Myers and 1 pressure by Zach Tom, neither of which ended in a quarterback hit or a sack. This offensive line I thought was so good this Sunday, even in the run blocking regards. Elton Jenkins, a 77.1 run block. Josh Nijman, a 64.8. Those are the top 2 linemen in run blocking. All right, now moving to the flip side, moving to the defensive side of the ball. The top graded player on defense in week 13 was Devonte Wyatt. Now, you got to put a little bit of an asterisk next to this because it was only 9 snaps, but yet it was still an 87.7. I don't know what else needs to happen for Devonte Wyatt to get more snaps on the defensive line. At this point, it should not be Dean Lowry getting 26 and Devonte Wyatt getting 9. It should be more equal, if not Devonte Wyatt getting more. You drafted him in the first round. This dude can play. Put him on the field. Devonte Wyatt's going to be your future at defensive line. Give him the snaps if he's playing well, which clearly he is. A 71.7 pass rush. He had 1 tackle and 1 stop. Second on this list is Keyshawn Nixon. I would call him this year's Rasul Douglas because this dude has been balling out as a street free agent. An 83.5 overall grade. Tackle grade not good at 30.8 because he did miss a tackle, but an 89.2 coverage grade. This dude has been playing excellent nickel corner ever since Eric Stokes got hurt. They flipped Rasul outside. Keyshawn Nixon comes in at nickel corner, and he's been playing really well. Allowed 1 reception on 2 targets for 14 yards and a 33.3 quarterback passer rating. If the quarterback were to take the ball and just throw it straight into the ground, he'd have a better passer rating than that. So that speaks volume. Keyshawn Nixon has been balling out nickel corner and kick returner. And what do you know? Right below him, Rasul Douglas also played really well this game. Didn't have a hot game against the Eagles. Came back, played well in this game. A 79.0, a 79.6 coverage grade. Next, we have TJ Slayton, a 76.8. Then we have Jair Alexander, who had a rough game in the beginning, but came back, secured that interception to pretty much seal the game, a 76.5. Then it drops pretty much 10 points here. Preston Smith, a 65.5. Quay Walker, a 63.7. Still a rough tackle grade with another missed tackle. Hasn't been the best at finding the running lanes and making tackles, but he has been pretty decent in coverage, as we see here. A 73.3. Only allowed 1 reception for 1 yard. Dean Lowry, a 63.6. Kenny Clark, a 63.2. Justin Hollins, who has filled in nice since they signed him a couple weeks ago, a 60.8. Mike Abernathy, who was activated for this game, only had 1 defensive snap and a 60.0, so pretty bang average. I doubt he even did anything in that play. Adrian Amos, a 57.6. Jonathan Garvin, a 54.9. Devondre Campbell, a 53.5. So not a good comeback from Devondre Campbell, but he likely is rusty. Then Rudy Ford, a 48.8. That is unusual. Usually Rudy Ford's at the top of this list, so he did start at free safety. Not a great game by Rudy Ford, but I definitely see him bouncing back. Jerron Reed, a 44.0. And another surprise here, Kingsley Enagbare was the worst graded player on defense with a 36.2, although he did have 2 total pressures, but worst grade, 36.2. And speaking of pressures, if we sort it by that, Kenny Clark had 3 total pressures. Really nice game from Kenny Clark. I think he saw all the tweets of people bashing him, saying, where's Kenny Clark been? Then all of a sudden this game, he's dominating again. So Kingsley Enagbare, like we said, 2 pressures. John Garvin with 1, TJ Slayton with 1, Nixon, Lowry, and Reed also with 1. Now moving into the coverage for the defense, Devondre Campbell, again, a poor game. He allowed 7 receptions on 8 targets for 62 yards, so not a good game in coverage for him. Then we have Jair Alexander, who allowed 5 receptions on 6 targets for 121 yards. Yes, he had that interception in the game, which that's what matters. It pretty much won them the game, so all of this doesn't matter too much, but you still look into it. We see N'Keal Harry with that 49-yard reception, St. Brown with the 56-yard reception. The dude got burnt twice on double moves. He bit on the double move both times. He's got to watch that film. He's got to understand, you can't always jump these routes because they're watching film too, and that's exactly what happened, and he got burnt. Rasul Douglas allowed 3 receptions on 4 targets, all against Chase Claypool for 29 yards. Rudy Ford, 2 receptions on 3 targets. targets. Keyshawn Nixon, 1 reception on 2 targets. That was to Dante Pettis for 14 yards. Quay Walker, 1 reception allowed on David Montgomery. Adrian Amos, same thing, 1 reception on David Montgomery. And to round things off, quickly want to go over the top 5 and bottom 5 players on special teams. At number 1 was Dean Lowry with a 90.8, Eric Wilson with a 90.5, Patrick Taylor an 85.4. That's why this dude remains on the roster and keeps getting called up, because of his special team ability. Keyshawn Nixon an 80.0. Again, this guy has been a godsend at special teams as a returner ever since they put him back there. Then Kingsley Nabbari at 5th was a 71.5. Then if we go down to the bottom here, Dallin Levitt a 59.2. Quay Walker, a 59.1, John Garvin, 57.2, Tyler Davis, a 52.4, so he's not even really contributing that much on special teams, and if he is, he's not doing too well, and Corey Ballantyne, a 39.1. But yeah, those are all the grades for the Week 13 game where the Packers secured a win against the Chicago Bears, keeping their season sort of alive. They're theoretically not eliminated from the playoffs yet, and a lot has to happen. If you want to see how that can all happen, all the combinations and what really needs to happen, I did just release a video yesterday explaining all of it. If we want to go watch that, click the link right above. But that about does it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Please leave a like down below, but I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Pack Go.